My wife claims she's terrified of flying. She doesn't know I saw her pilot credentials. My wife Natalie turned green every time we drove past the airport, which happened at least twice a week since we live 10 minutes from LAX. She'd grip the door handle and stare straight ahead like the planes might swoop down and snatch her from the passenger seat. I tried everything to help her overcome this fear, including therapy apps and meditation videos and even hypnosis recordings, but nothing worked. The woman who fearlessly handled emergency room chaos as a nurse couldn't even look at an airplane without breaking into a cold sweat. For her 40th birthday, I decided to surprise her with something special that might help her conquer this phobia once and for all. I booked us first-class tickets to Hawaii and arranged for a private session with a pilot who specialized in helping nervous flyers understand how planes work. The moment I showed her the tickets, she dropped her coffee mug, and it shattered across our kitchen floor, while her face went from green to ghost white in seconds. I immediately realized I'd made a terrible mistake pushing her towards something that terrified her, but I'd already spent $3,000 and told myself maybe she just needed time to process the idea. The tickets stayed pinned to our refrigerator for 3 months like a threat neither of us acknowledged. Natalie made increasingly creative excuses about why we couldn't go, ranging from sudden work emergencies to mysterious illnesses that cleared up the moment I suggested rebooking. Eventually, I donated the tickets to a charity auction and stopped mentioning air travel entirely because forcing someone to face their fears seemed cruel when they were this terrified. Last week, I was hunting through our garage for Christmas lights when I knocked over a stack of boxes Natalie had shoved behind the water heater. A leather portfolio spilled open, revealing documents I'd never seen before, including a pilot's license with Natalie's photo and a different last name. My wife, who hyperventilated at the sound of jet engines, had apparently been certified to fly commercial aircraft, and the license showed thousands of logged flight hours. I sat on the concrete floor, surrounded by commendations and photos of Natalie in a crisp uniform standing proudly next to massive planes. Articles from aviation magazines praised Captain Natalie Brooks as one of the youngest female pilots to achieve various certifications, and there were handwritten notes from passengers thanking her for smooth flights through terrible weather. When Natalie got home from her hospital shift, I was sitting at our dining table with the portfolio open and her various certificates spread across the surface. She froze in the doorway, still wearing her scrubs, while her car keys slipped from her fingers and clattered on the hardwood floor. I waited for her to speak first, but she just stood there staring at the evidence of her former life. Finally, she whispered, "I can explain everything if you just give me a chance to tell you the whole story." Natalie sank into the chair across from me and started talking. Gregory was my co-pilot for 3 years, and he'd show up drunk or high every other flight, but I kept covering for him like an idiot. My stomach churned as she continued. That morning from Denver, he was completely wasted, and when I confronted him, he laughed and said nobody would believe the young female pilot over him anyway. 20 minutes later, he passed out cold during severe turbulence, and I had to fly a 373 through a storm cell alone while pretending everything was normal. I asked why she didn't report him, and she laughed bitterly. I did, but Gregory's uncle was on the board, and suddenly I was the unstable woman who'd been drinking while Gregory heroically saved the flight. They gave me 2 choices, which were resign quietly or face criminal charges. I reached across the table and took her trembling hands. "Sometimes I park at the airport at 3 in the morning just to watch planes take off," she said quietly. "You know what kills me? I was fucking great at it. That storm would have killed everyone if I hadn't been there." I told her to fly again, but she shook her head, saying her license expired years ago. "Private instructors don't ask questions," I reminded her. "Start small and fly just for you." Natalie wiped her eyes and nodded. "There's a Cessna place in Torrance that does refresher courses. I've driven past it 100 times. I smiled and said, "Then let's stop driving past it."